What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. This one is for Geostorm. Um, this movie is about a future in which, because we're horrible people and we've ruined the planet, we've gone into this severe climate change, huge, disastrous, global, weather events are taking place that are killing hundreds of thousands of people. And it looks like unless something is done, it's just going to be the end of mankind. We're going to go extinct, and, that's it. So, Gerard Butler comes up with a way to save the world by this intricate system of satellites that network together. And whenever one of these weather events happens, these satellites can shoot down these little pods that control the weather and prevent that from happening. But then, after years of peace, and he was removed from the project because he was too much of a rebel, so his more conformist brother took his place. But anyway, after years of this system working perfectly, now there's these strange events happening. In Afghanistan, an entire village is flash frozen. Then there's a huge gas main explosion. And it just looks like, something's going wrong. And you got to figure out what it is, because what's happening is even worse than what might have happened, if we hadn't controlled the weather. So, of course, Gerard Butler is called in to save the world. Again, this guy doesn't get a break. And he has to go up and kind of check out what's going on with the system and why this is happening. And he kind of uncovers that, hey, maybe somebody's doing this on purpose, and maybe this thing goes, a lot higher than he thought. I'll be honest with you. I went into Geostorm with very little expectations. I just wanted to see a fun, kind of big budget sci-fi original where, a bunch of people died and just a bunch of crazy weather stuff happened and goofy, I wanted to see, like, the drought, like, killing people, but then some guy being like, hot enough for you? Just like some terrible, puns about the weather. That didn't happen. For some reason, this movie is convinced that its political thriller storyline is why people should see Geostorm, and it spends very little time on the weather, especially given how all of the marketing is like, weird weather, weird weather, weird weather, and it really doesn't happen in the movie. There's like a handful of pretty brief scenes where it happens, but the movie spends way more time focused in on this political story and the brother bond, and then this guy and his Secret Service fiance. I'll just say this, though. Abby Cornish is the Secret Service agent in this. She is a badass, man. She is awesome. She's the best part of the movie. I would have loved for her to have been the main character, but unfortunately that doesn't happen. When the weather scenes do kick in, they are actually pretty fun. I like to see crazy weather happen. The CGI is terrible, of course, but that's part of the deal here. I mean, I went into it wanting a sci-fi or a big budget sci-fi original, and that means bad special effects, and that's what we have here. But it was fun. It's some of those scenes actually work, and they're at least exciting and fun, especially seeing them on the big screen. But then anytime it switches to the political intrigue, it's just everything grinds to a halt. I don't know why they would want to focus on this crappy generic storyline when they have this wild, freaky weather stuff. It just doesn't make sense to me. You would think, like, kind of like the people out there that love the popcorn CGI movies, like, this should have been a movie for them. Like, the people who like, the shitty Marvel movies. Like, this should have been for them. And the movie even drops the ball on that, and it ends up just being a boring political story that happens to have a few scenes of over the top CGI weather. I can't really recommend it. And not only that, but it's like almost 2 hours long, so it doesn't even have the common decency to exit timely. So it's like, here's this crappy story, and here's all but 15 minutes of it is just garbage political story. That's it. I really didn't like Geostorm. It wasn't actively terrible, but I certainly would never want to see it again. And if you like this review, be sure to check out my website, markfusion.com. I try to review just about everything that comes out, but I do have a focus in on horror, cult, older movies, but I do review new release stuff as well. I'm also on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at markfusion. If you want to support me beyond watching these videos and checking out my site, you can also check out my Patreon, where you can get exclusive content. You can also drop me a sub here, which is absolutely the best way that you can support me. That's what helps me tremendously, is to build my sub count. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate you watching these reviews, especially ones of movies like Geostorm. So thank you so much. I do really appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you soon.